Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic, now full-time energy healer, author, and your resident science meets spirit nerd.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch, teacher of the craft, and owner of not one, not two, but 3 metaphysical businesses.
Together we dig into low-effort witchcraft, spirituality, and the science that backs it all up, all with humor, heart, and a sprinkle of chaos.
So whether you're a curious skeptic or a seasoned witch, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic. Howdy doody, friends.
Howdy and a duty and a friends.
We are here. It is episode 4 of our Greek Pantheon series. How are you liking it so far? How are we feeling?
Loving it. I'm loving it. The girlies are loving it, and I'm loving it too.
I'm having a big old time. Today we were talking about some of those nature gods. We've got the gods of nature, the wild, and the cycles of the earth. Today we're going to talk about Artemis, Demeter, and Poseidon.
Ooh.
I'm very, very excited. I have not really felt super called to these like more kind of like earthly deities before, but learning more about them, I was really, really surprised by the level of connection that I felt, especially to Demeter. So I'm excited to dive in, but first, what was your magic moment this week?
My magic moment is that I'm currently getting my office professionally organized.
Ooh.
If you've been following the journey, I built this office above my garage a year ago now. And I was like, oh, I will figure out how to organize it. No, the amount of doom piles and doom boxes and closets of doom and just, it's bad. It was bad. It was bad. It will no longer be bad after today. So I got like built-in shelving in the closets, and I have someone here literally all morning. She's been like, and do we need this? And I'm like, no.
Probably not. This is where I wish we lived in the same place, because I want somebody to come do that to our closet so badly.
Dude, I'm like, I'm going to hire you for every nook and cranny of this house.
Yeah, can you just move in?
Literally, I'm like, bedroom closet, mudroom, kitchen, everywhere.
Just
everywhere.
come fix
Please
me.
help me. It's like an ADHD dream. I have a bin for tarot decks, and I have a bin for oracle decks.
Wow, look at you. We've
Do you
been
know how many
talking
candles
about...
I have?
Oh, you sent me a picture.
I found more. I have so many candles. I probably have 40 candles.
Sounds about right.
From my friend Madison.
Sounds about right.
I have one of every candle you've ever made, and some customs and doubles of a few of them.
Yep, sounds about right.
So I'm very much looking forward to having a functional space.
Very excited for you.
What about you? What was your magic moment?
My magic moment this week is that, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I booked myself a massage for yesterday.
Ooh.
And then yesterday morning, I got my period. And can I tell you, that day 1 of your period massage goes hard. If I could correctly determine the first day of my period every month, for new listeners, I was about to apologize for talking about my period, but I'm not sorry at all.
No.
It's a natural bodily function. I have PCOS.
Yeah, we're talking about the natural world this year.
Exactly.
This episode, this year.
This year, this week, today, this minute. So my cycle is like very inconsistent because I have PCOS. And so it's like everywhere from like 21 days to like 34 days. So I could never ever recreate this like intentionally, you know, unless it's like I wake up with my period and I'm like, okay, who's got an opening for like the 1 hour that I have available in my schedule today? But I very intentionally like took everything off of our calendar for this past weekend. Like everything that I didn't have to do, I just took it off because I was like, I just need a fucking break. And so I booked this massage, and it was truly like I came home and I just laid on my heating pad, and it was glorious.
That sounds amazing.
My whole body is very sore today. You know how they say you could either feel good during your massage or feel good after your massage? I definitely am feeling good after my massage, but I can tell she like ripped me a new one And
by
me, I mean all of my muscles. She fucking got me. It was great.
That's how you know it's a good massage.
If you feel sore afterwards.
I love that for you. Drink lots of water today.
Oh, yeah. I've got my really filled up with electrolytes.
Ooh.
All right. So, diving into these gods of nature. In the previous episodes, like the first half of this series, we have focused really heavily on the gods who operate primarily through people, like love and wisdom, communication, the underworld, literally like the cycles of life and death. But this episode is going to be a little bit different. These gods, they operate entirely through the world itself, through soil and season and tide and the weather, storm, and through like the more animalistic parts of humanity. And so like we'll obviously be talking about people because the gods, as we've learned, they really do be interacting with the human race, you know, but most of what these gods kind of hold dominion over is the natural world. So Artemis, Demeter, and Poseidon are all nature deities, not like the... when you hear nature gods, I very much think of it as like almost like a landscape painting of like the very pretty, you know, like, oh, the gods of the trees and the sky and the waves. But it's like so much more complicated than that. And I think that's where my connection really deepened through doing research for this episode. They're more gods of nature as like a living system of cycles. And like the word that keeps coming to me through the research is like wildness, through the wild, the gods of the wild, you know, and through that wildness is things like grief and abundance and like depth. And that's what I think really connects it to humanity.
Wait, I love that. Is Poseidon depth?
Yeah.
Oh,
very much so.
Deep water.
Yeah, of course. Like, and so something
that
that's
makes so
interesting.
much more sense.
Yeah, we'll get to it when I get to Poseidon, but I learned a lot about Poseidon's connection to the underworld that I think is really interesting.
Can I just say before we dive in, I think we've gotten so many comments on. Right now, only the first episode of this series is out in the world, and the amount of comments of people being like, "This is my special interest."
I know.
It's so funny to me. I love it.
And can I just say, I am equally excited and terrified about that because I have like we talk all the time about like my immense level of imposter syndrome. And so it's like no matter everything I read, I'm like triple, quadruple checking. And like even before we started, of course. But it's like from this level of I know people who obviously I do not claim to be an expert in any of this. This is just something that I have a level of interested and wanted to talk about. And so I'm not claiming that I am like the end all be all source. As we've said in every episode, there's 100 versions of each of these myths. And so I am just reading what I have found.
Yeah. But I just think it's great. I love the people that were like, how does Molly not know this? Oh, wait, this is a niche special interest.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, man, I know the smut version and only the smut version.
And I will say as well, I really appreciate, like, all of that fear is very much invented by me because even in times where people have, like, there's nothing that people were like, you're really wrong about this. But, like, when people have read other things, the way that we guys have, like, the way that we have all communicated about it has been very, very lovely. And I've really enjoyed learning from you guys as well. So keep the messages coming.
I will also say, too, Madison and I wanted to just gently set a cute little boundary here because we've had some comments more so recently where people have like almost like tried to pit us against each other, like let Molly talk or let Madison talk, and like we are in conversation with each other, like neither of us feels dominated by the other in these episodes.
Yeah, and if there ever was a time that one of us felt disregarded or spoken over or disrespected, we would not air it.
Yeah.
If there has ever been a time in which one of us has spoken over the other, first of all, we're having this conversation over Zoom, held by the bounds of the internet and Wi-Fi, which is not always great. And so if one of us feels interrupted, we just say, wait, I was in the middle of something. Can I finish my sentence? And then Lily cuts it. We love each other. Molly and I are family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are best friends, but we are more than that as well. Like, our lives are completely intertwined, and we have no problem asserting our feelings with one another or saying when one of us has hurt the other's feelings. And so we really, really appreciate the love and care that we know these comments come from. But this is a kind and loving request that you let us communicate our feelings to one another and don't try to assume what one of us might be thinking or feeling. Because I promise, if there is any of that, we're grown-ups and we've handled it offline.
Yes.
And we love you. Jinx.
Jinx.
You owe me a soda. It's like not been anything disrespectful. It's just been something that we've noticed an uptick in, and we just want to kind of nip it in the bud of we are friends and there's no beef. And if there was ever any beef, you would never know about it because we would have handled it outside of the confines of this podcast.
Yep.
And there's also never been beef. Like, I say that, like, you would never know about it. It is true, but also, like, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist, and we don't need you to fight for us towards each other.
We don't need a ref.
Yeah.
We are the ref. We are judge, jury, and executioner in the context of our own friendship. So
yes.
All is well, and we love you.
We love you. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way.
Let's dive into Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, the moon, the wild, and the fierce protection of the innocent. So, Artemis is probably someone that if especially this is your special interest within the context of witchcraft, you probably know about her. She is one of the most beloved deities in the modern witchcraft community, and I think for good reason. She's the goddess of the hunt, the moon, wilderness, wild animals, childbirth, and the protection of young women and children. She's Apollo's twin sister, and she was born first, according to most traditions, and then she immediately turned to assist with her brother's birth. I think it's very interesting that she is such a protector of women and children and childbirth because she's the original free woman of mythology. She, almost immediately upon birth, asked her father Zeus for eternal virginity.
What? What? What?
I know, but so that
internal or eternal?
Eternal.
Okay, I think you said
I think
internal,
all virginity is internal, is it not? It is an internal organ.
I don't know, man.
No, eternal virginity, which, like, when you hear that, I think it can sound kind of like patriarchal and gross, like from a purity culture perspective, but it's not that. It's more of like a bodily autonomy. She basically she wanted to be fully autonomous forever, not get married, she wanted to belong to no man.
Okay.
So she wanted to belong to no man, answer to no household, and run free in the wilderness with her band of nymph companions forever.
Cute. Love that for her.
Yeah, she wanted to be a part of a girl group, basically. She's like, I would like to be a virgin forever. I don't need these boys.
She's asexual.
Yeah, an asexual queen.
Love that for her.
And what I think is interesting is that Zeus granted it, and it's pretty much respected. As for everything that I've read, it's just like, okay, that's who she is.
Great.
She's the only major Olympian goddess who's like entirely self-defined. She lives completely on her own terms outside of the bounds of like societal expectation.
I'm into that.
So her Roman equivalent is Diana, and her archetype, the independent huntress, the moon goddess, the protector of the vulnerable, it's kind of like the most widely worked with energy of hers in modern paganism. So she's called on by those who are reclaiming bodily autonomy or maybe healing from violation. Energetically, Artemis is clean and clear. She does not comfort in the conventional sense. She's not soft, but she is fiercely and unconditionally protective of those in her care. And she will absolutely hold you accountable for betraying her trust or the trust of those that she guards. So, her mythology. Like I said, that first request in her birth. She was born on the island of Delos just before her twin Apollo. As a very young child, she sat on Zeus's knee and asked for her gifts: eternal virginity, a silver bow and arrow, a pack of hounds, nymphs as companions, and all the mountains of the world as her domain, and a tunic short enough for her to run in. Okay. And Zeus just gave her everything she asked for. Said, okay, queen, go ahead.
Sure. We love a woman who knows what she wants.
Once the hunter Actaeon stumbled upon Artemis bathing with her nymphs in a forest pool. Whether by accident or out of curiosity, he saw her naked. She immediately transformed him into a stag, and his own hunting hounds tore him apart.
What?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Because it's her bodily autonomy. The eternal virgin. She was very protective of that bodily autonomy.
But he stumbled upon it. Wasn't his fault, was it?
It depends. Different versions say different things. Either it was completely an accident or...
I'd like the version where we blame the man, please.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But I also kind of, again, am like... fierce protector of boundaries. She doesn't care if you accidentally broke her boundaries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that thought. I like
Impact
that. I like
over
that.
intent.
Okay. No, yeah, I'm on board with this now. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
She's a shoot first, ask questions later kind of girl. I like the idea that she didn't give a fuck how he found her. She was like, you've seen me naked. You gotta go. All right. So next, Niobe, the queen of Thebes, boasted that she was superior to Leto, which is Artemis and Apollo's mother, because she had 14 children while Leto only had 2.
Yikes.
Artemis and Apollo killed all 14 of Niobe's children in response. Oh. Artemis killed the daughters and Apollo the sons.
They were like, you're not going to talk bad about my mom.
Literally. Niobe wept until she turned into stone.
Wow.
Uh-huh. This myth kind of centers the specific Greek horror of hubris directed at the divine and the ferocity with which Artemis protects her mother. The ultimate girl's girl.
Girl's girl, for sure. Jeez. And Apollo, too. He was like, yes, queen, whatever you say.
Yep, literally. He was like, okay, sister. Artemis is also tied to the myth of Orion, you know, like Orion's belt. I'm
familiar with the constellation and nothing else.
Well, there we go. You were about to learn. So Orion was Artemis's great near love. And I love this because like in the love episode, we talked about the different types of love. Obviously, Artemis was an eternal virgin, did not want to have like a romantic relationship, but Orion was her hunting companion and she was closer to him than any other being. Besties. In some versions, Apollo tricked her into killing him by pointing out at a distant shape on the water and challenging her to hit it, and it was Orion swimming. In others, Orion was killed by a scorpion sent by Gaia. In all versions, Artemis placed him in the stars as a constellation. I know. Devastating.
That's so sad. I like the scorpion one better. I want Apollo and Artemis to be buddies.
I know. It's like, it really, what I keep coming back to is like how interesting it is how horribly these deities all treat one another.
Yeah.
But also how they like continue to coexist. Like if you had me, if somebody had me shoot you.
Yeah.
My brother had me shoot you, I'd be like, okay, well, we aren't family anymore. Like, you're evil.
Yeah.
Anyways, one of Artemis's great nymph companions, Callisto, was raped by Zeus. In some versions, Zeus disguises himself as Artemis.
Ew.
I know. She becomes pregnant, and when Artemis discovered this during a communal bath, she expelled Callisto from her band, either in anger or in more sympathetic readings, in recognition that Callisto could no longer live safely among them. I know. Hera later transformed Callisto into a bear. Zeus placed her among the stars as Ursa Major, the constellation.
Talk about a constellation prize.
Jesus. And what I think is so interesting here is like the level of vulnerability that you still have under Artemis's protection. Like even a goddess can't protect you from someone as powerful as Zeus. It's just this, I'll be honest, a lot of the myths in the next couple episodes are quite sad. I was rereading my notes for the next episode, started to cry.
Oh no.
So just a warning, gonna try to bring some levity. But I said at the top, we're going to be talking about grief here. So Artemis unintegrated shows up as isolation as armor rather than genuine independence, the inability to receive care or softness, punishing others disproportionately for boundary violations, using independence to avoid intimacy, or defining yourself entirely in opposition to domesticity or commitment. Her shadow is autonomy that has hardened into unavailability, while her highest expression is independence that comes from fullness, choosing the wild because it's genuinely where you thrive, not because you've been hurt and are keeping everyone at arm's length. Some signs that Artemis may be reaching out include deer appearing, especially doe or deer encountered in unusual circumstances, the full or crescent moon catching your attention with unusual force, a sudden pull towards the forest, mountains, or any wild, unmanicured landscape, dogs or hunting imagery appearing as recurring symbols, a fierce protective anger rising in response to someone being treated unjustly, especially a woman or child, dreams of running or being in a forest at night, a desire to reclaim bodily autonomy or stop making yourself available in ways that drain you, silver objects catching your eye, feeling most yourself at night alone or in nature, and a pull away from social performance and towards something rawer and more real. Ways to work with Artemis include reclaiming bodily autonomy and physical sovereignty, protection, especially for women, children, and the vulnerable, moon magic. She is a primary moon goddess alongside Selene and Hecate, setting fierce, non-negotiable boundaries, connecting with the wild, things like forest bathing, hiking, any practice that puts you in like pure, unmanicured nature, healing from violation or having your boundaries crossed, calling in independence and self-sufficiency, animal communication and working with animal guides, and supporting others through childbirth or major threshold moments.
Just a reminder, if you feel like you want notes on all of these things, you can join our Patreon at demystifymagic.com and get a little note action for each of these gods and goddesses in our clubhouse.
Artemis responds to directness and authenticity. She has no patience for performance. Go to her in nature if you can, even a park at night or a window open to the moonlight. Don't, if you feel a little nervous to go into the park at night, I fully understand and respect that.
I will not be going into a park at night.
Just open the window. Be honest about what you need. She responds to moon phase work, especially the full and crescent moon. She also responds to physical movement as devotion, running, hiking, dancing, any practice that puts you in your body and reminds you of your own animal nature. Offerings for Artemis include silver candles or white candles, moon water, cypress, that's her sacred tree, mugwort for dream work, wormwood, hunting or archery imagery, flowers left in the forest or at the base of a tree, running or movement offered as a devotional practice, a handmade bow or arrow, even a small one or as just like a symbolic one, not functional, animal bones or feathers found in nature.
Ooh, I am so dedicating my next run to Artemis.
I was just thinking that. That's how I get myself back into running. I've been on a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I don't run in the winter. It's not for me.
Artemis's correspondences include moonstone, selenite, silver sheen obsidian, clear quartz, and labradorite, silver, white, forest green, and midnight blue, mugwort, wormwood, cypress, pine, willow, and moonflower, deer, especially doe, hunting dogs, bears, boars, guinea fowl, and bees, silver crescent moons, bow and arrow, hunting torch, and quivers. Her planet is the moon, her day is Monday, and the number 3 is associated with her.
Triple moon.
Exactly, another triple moon goddess. Next, we've got Demeter.
I will just say, when I read about Demeter in Neon Gods, I pronounced in my head her name as Demeter.
And I think some people do. I don't know. Okay. That could be correct. I could be wrong.
Sounds way worse. No, it's definitely Demeter.
Someone will tell me in the comments if I'm saying it wrong.
Demeter sounds so dumb. And it's Demeter. I know this because I looked it up after 3 books. I was like, I should look this up. And I was like, oh, it's wrong. My brain is wrong.
Well, I would not take my pronunciation of any of these words as gospel because, again, these are words that I've only read, very rarely heard out loud. Demeter, goddess of the harvest, the earth's abundance, grief, and the sacred cycles of life.
Is this the one that is Persephone's mom?
Okay. Yes. So, Demeter is the goddess of grain, the harvest, and the fertile earth. But I think that kind of waters her down a little bit. She's also the goddess of abundance and grief in equal measure. She is the deity whose love for her daughter created the season of winter. She quite literally refused to function, refused to provide, refused to keep the world alive until her grief and her loss was acknowledged and addressed. She's the original example of a woman whose grief was so total and so immense that it completely changed the world. She's also one of the oldest deities in the Greek Pantheon. She has roots that predate the Olympian structure. Her worship was ancient, widespread, and extraordinarily important to like normal people, such as farmers, mothers, and everyone whose survival depended on the earth's cooperation. So like all of the lay people of the world, Demeter was very important to them. She's like the people's princess. She's very Princess Diana coded.
Oh my God, Princess Di, Princess Demeter.
Princess D.
Oh my God.
So her Roman equivalent is Ceres, which, fun fact, that's where we get the word cereal from.
Sure. Like cereal the food or cereal the podcast?
Like cereal the food.
Really?
It's spelled Ceres. I assume because it's like grain and wheat.
Oh.
You know?
Not the cereals I eat.
Yeah, well, girl, same. I don't know. Honey Nut Cheerios.
God, I love Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's what I had right before we started recording.
Oh, man, what I wouldn't give for a bowl of HNCs.
Anyways, her symbols are the sheaf of wheat, the poppy, and the cornucopia.
Wait, the what? The sheep of wheat?
Yeah. Like
what the hell is a sheep of wheat?
Sheaf of wheat. Like you know, when you see a picture.
Sheep. I thought you said sheep.
I can't speak and Molly can't hear today.
Enunciate, girl.
I'm trying. Okay, now I'm addressing it on air. Don't tell me to enunciate, bitch. Now we have beef.
We've got sheep beef.
Yeah, okay. Whew. Do people eat sheep?
Sorry. You asked the vegetarian?
I'm so sorry. I'm Googling that. Do people eat
I don't think so. They have sheep's milk.
Yes, people eat sheep globally. Oh my God.
What?
Lamb. People eat lamb.
The way I didn't even realize lambs and sheeps were the same.
I've never felt so stupid in my life. In my defense, I don't eat lamb because it makes me sad.
I always thought baby sheep were called ewes. They're also lambs?
I don't know.
So you don't eat lamb because you think it's ewe?
I'm so embarrassed. We don't have beef, we have lamb.
Ew.
I'm crying. I'm crying. I'm sorry. Whew, okay.
Whew.
Anyways, Demeter's Roman equivalent, Ceres, sheaf of wheat. Okay. But this symbol that like really encapsulates both of these goddesses is the wheel of the year, the cycle of the seasons. Oh, okay. Energetically, Demeter is warm and vast. She is both that feeling of like harvest abundance and, you know, like the warmth of summer and that like hollow ache of winter. She's unconditional love and the rage and grief of that love being thwarted. She is deeply maternal and like fiercely loving in the way, like she is the embodiment of a mother's love, right? Like I imagine Demeter as a woman lifting a car off of her baby. Like
it sounds like your mom.
Yeah, my mom is very Demeter coded. Like
extremely.
Will burn the world down if that's what it takes to protect the ones that she loves. So the most important myth in Demeter's mythology is the abduction of Persephone. Her daughter was taken by Hades while gathering flowers in a meadow. We talked about this a lot in the Underworld episode, but Demeter searched for 9 days and nights without eating, drinking, or bathing, and the Earth's fertility was completely suspended in her grief. She finally learned the truth from Helios and left Olympus in her grief and wandered the earth as an old woman. During her wandering, Demeter arrived at Eleusis and was taken in by the royal family. She worked as a nurse to the infant prince Demophon, Demophon, and began making him immortal by anointing him with ambrosia and placing him in the fire each night. His mother discovered this and screamed in horror, interrupting the process. Demeter, furious, revealed herself in her full divine form, blazing with light and filling the room with the scent of grain, and demanded that a temple be built in her honor as like a payment for the, I don't know. I'm a little like, you're putting your son in the fire. They don't know that you're Demeter. But anyways, the temple is built and she remains there in her grief, withholding her gifts from the earth until Zeus intervened. Zeus sent Hermes then to the underworld to retrieve Persephone, but Persephone had eaten the pomegranate seeds, binding her to the underworld for part of the year. The compromise is that she would spend part of the year above ground with Demeter, spring and summer, and part of the year below, autumn and winter. This is the Greek explanation for the seasons.
Makes sense.
So, one of the most important mystery cults in ancient Greece was held at Eleusis in Demeter's honor. For nearly 2,000 years, initiates underwent secret rites that promised them a better experience in the afterlife and a deeper understanding of death and rebirth. The rites were so sacred that their full content was never written down. All we know is that they involved a ritual fast and a procession, but the specifics died with the last initiates around the 4th century CE.
Whoa.
Yeah. What we do know is that initiates reported profound experiences of transformation and that the cycle of Demeter and Persephone was at the heart of it.
I want to do it.
I know. I want to know more. I want to learn more and read more about like those ancient cults.
We should do a cult episode.
I miss when cults were cool and good, you know, rather than like, I just watched Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey.
Oh, yeah. We watched that when it came out.
So,
Blech.
I want to be a part of an old Greek cult, not fucking Word Jeffs with the bad hair. And that's the best of those crimes.
Jeffy with the bad hair.
Ugh. Anyways, something else that I thought was really cool that I discovered about Demeter is that one of the most widely observed festivals in ancient Greece was a 3-day women-only festival in Demeter's honor, held at the time of the autumn planting. Men were entirely excluded.
Sign me up.
So women left their homes, camped together, performed rites that included fasting, ritual mourning, and jubilation.
What is jubilation?
Like a jubilee.
I
like
know.
a
I want a
party.
jubilation.
I know. I want to jubilate.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so like that's something that I also thought was really interesting is like you did ritualized mourning and ritualized like exaltation.
Yeah, I love that. I want to do that.
It was one of the few spaces in the ancient Greek world where women had complete religious and social authority.
Woo-hoo.
So she's also kind of like a patron of women's collective power as well.
Yeah, for sure. The power of grieving.
Demeter's cycle is kind of like the most direct mapping of any Greek deity onto the modern Wheel of the Year. She's someone that if the Wheel of the Year is really important to you, you could incorporate her into that practice really easily. So like Imbolc, late winter, that's when the first stirring kind of begins beneath the soil. Persephone begins her ascent and Demeter's grief begins to lift. This is where the earth kind of like remembers its fertility. And then Ostara, Persephone returns. Demeter's joy is the bloom of spring. At Beltane, early summer, that's where we've reached like full abundance. The earth is in its peak generosity and Demeter is like at her most joyous. Then Lammas or Lunasa is the first harvest. It's the beginning of the gift of that joy. It's also the first acknowledgement that we are approaching autumn. The autumn equinox or Mabon is the full harvest and Persephone begins her ascent. The abundance and that kind of impending loss is held simultaneously, right? Like the autumn equinox is where we recognize that we have received the most abundance we'll receive this year. We celebrate it and also acknowledge that the darkness is coming. Samhain is where Persephone descends and Demeter's grief begins. The veil begins to thin because the queen of the underworld has just arrived. And then at the winter solstice, Demeter is in her deepest grief. The earth is at its most still and we have our longest night. But yet, this is also where we know that the light begins to return. So, Demeter unintegrated can show up as grief so consuming that it prevents you from functioning, love that becomes smothering or possessive, the inability to allow the people you love to change or leave, defining yourself entirely through your role as a nurturer, or withholding your gifts as punishment when you feel unappreciated. Her shadow is love without boundaries. Her healing edge is learning to grieve without stopping the world, to love without possessing, and to trust that what descends will also return.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Snapping over here. I'm snapping.
It's interesting because, like, in a lot of modern retellings, Demeter is presented as this, like, overbearing mother. And I think that she definitely can be, right? Like, if you think about, like, I don't know that time really exists the same way for deities as it does on Earth, but it's been thousands of years. Maybe hundreds of thousands, and still every year we have winter. And that could for sure be like an overbearing mother who refuses to let go, especially in those more modern retellings where Persephone chooses Hades, right? Like in that modern interpretation where it's a love story. That really presents Demeter as like a mom who doesn't want her kids to grow up. And I think that that can be part of it, right? Is like, I love things how they are right now. I don't want anything to change. And throwing that like almost like a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
But on the other side, it is like a love so pure that it alters the world. It alters the lives of everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that that's beautiful too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about balance, right?
Yeah.
Too much of a good thing isn't great.
Again, like the humanness of these deities. So, some signs that Demeter may be reaching out: wheat, grain, or corn appearing as recurring symbols, an unexpected pull towards cooking, baking, or feeding people as an act of love, poppies appearing in your life, in gardens, in dreams, in art, etc. A season change hitting you with unusual emotional weight, grief that feels older and larger than its immediate cause, might be ancestral or collective grief, a desire to connect with the land, to garden, or to put your hands in soil, dreams of fields, harvests, or abundance that turn into emptiness, a sudden awareness of your own cycles, like your menstrual cycle, seasonal cycles, energetic cycles, feeling called to honor your ancestors or the women who came before you, and a fierce protective love for someone that surprises you with its intensity. Ways to work with Demeter: grief work, especially grief that feels stuck, cyclical, or ancestrally layered. Seasonal magic and aligning with the wheel of the year. Abundance and prosperity work, calling in material sufficiency and nourishment. Ancestral healing, especially matrilineal. Fertility in the broadest sense, creative, agricultural, or literal fertility. Releasing the people or things you love back to their own paths. Healing relationships with mothers, mothering, and being mothered. And earth-based spiritual practice, working directly with soil, seeds, and growing things. So how to approach her. Demeter responds to simplicity and sincerity. She is not a deity who needs like elaborate ritual, more so like genuine connection to the earth and genuine honesty about your grief. Working with her often means going outside, planting something, touching soil, leaving food at the base of a tree, sitting with the season you're actually in rather than one you wish you were in. Ooh. And she is also powerfully invoked through cooking as devotion. Making food with intention and care is one of the oldest forms of worship that she can receive.
Oh, that's fun.
I think she's someone that I'll want to call on during the summer here where I'm so miserable and hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking like when you said something about, craving a season you're not in or whatever. Just a reminder that season doesn't necessarily mean like nature season. It could be like the cycle you're in your life right now. Yeah,
the phase of life. Like Demeter experiences that loss and grief every year, and she does retreat, and she does, the earth does go barren because of it. But also she knows that spring is coming.
Right.
So offerings for her include grain, bread, or wheat. Poppies, they're her most sacred flower. Honey.
Like Alphaba.
Pomegranate for her connection to Persephone. Fresh fruit and vegetables from the season. Green or golden candles. Water poured directly onto the earth. Seeds planted as an act of devotion, or a meal cooked with intention and offered before eating. Her correspondences include green aventurine, moss agate, citrine, amber, tiger's eye, and peridot. Green, gold, amber, warm brown, and harvest yellow. Wheat, poppy, sunflower, mint, pennyroyal, and bay. Pigs, snakes, geckos, cranes, and turtle doves. Sheeps of wheat. Cornucopia, torches, and serpents. She's associated with the planet of Earth, obviously. And then Friday and Monday. And then all seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, last, we've got Poseidon.
Daddy Water.
Daddy Water. God of the sea, earthquakes, horses, and the deep emotional undercurrent. I know. Weird, right?
Horses?
Literally, the first sentence in my notes is Poseidon is the god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses. A combination that you might not understand until you understand the ancient Greek cosmology in which the sea and the underworld of the earth were connected. Okay. And horses were associated with both the power of water and the power of the earth.
Okay.
So Poseidon is kind of connected to all other areas, right?
Because water's in everything.
Mm-hmm. Water is in everything. The Greeks believed that the ocean was connected to the underworld.
Makes sense.
And horses honed both the power of the water and the power of the earth.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I know, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, fair, fair.
And all three of these things are expressions of a single primal force, the enormous, ungovernable power that moves beneath the surface of all things.
Can horses swim?
Yeah.
Well?
I mean, I don't know. I have never asked a horse.
I mean, I know that I've seen photos of horses, walking through water with people on them, but can they swim? Maybe it's because it was, a vehicle that could go on land or sea?
Google says, yes, horses can swim and are natural swimmers, using a doggy paddle motion with all four legs to stay afloat. Their large lungs provide natural buoyancy, allowing them to move with grace.
Okay, that feels like why... Yeah, it can move between land and sea.
Exactly.
Above and below.
Uh-huh.
There we go. We solved it.
But it does sound weird when you just say that. That's water, horses. Man's best friends. So, Poseidon is one of the three sons of Kronos, brother to Zeus and Hades, and he rules the sea as Zeus rules the sky and Hades rules the underworld. His Roman equivalent is Neptune, and his astrological influence, the depth, disillusion, and the unconscious, illusion and transcendence. This maps closely to his Greek divine character. So, I think Poseidon is kind of scary because I'm scared of what's at the bottom of the ocean, how they say we've only discovered 5% of the ocean. That's kind of how I categorize Poseidon as well. He is the god of what literally lives beneath the surface. Everything that's in that deep, scary water.
His.
Yeah. I don't want to fuck with that.
No.
But this can also translate to emotional depth, any kind of emotional undercurrent that you maybe don't want to bring to the surface.
Yeah, I was thinking subconscious mind shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever that deep, dark, scary fish is that lives in your emotional mind, he might hold dominion over that too. So he's the second most powerful deity in the Greek Pantheon after Zeus, and he knows it.
Yeah.
He's moody, proud, and easily slighted. He's capable of enormous generosity and enormous destruction. He's the god who gave Athens a saltwater spring and then flooded the plains when they chose Athena's olive tree instead, if you remember from the previous episode. He sent the Cretan bull to Minos as a gift, and then when Minos failed to sacrifice it back, he sent a plague of madness that destroyed Minos' entire family.
Okay, yeah. No, that's...
His gifts come with the understanding that they better be honored or else he's going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Energetically, Poseidon carries the full force of the ocean, both beauty and terror. So, his mythology. After the Titanomachy, the three brothers drew lots. Zeus received the sky, Hades received the underworld, and Poseidon the sea. Olympus and the earth were then shared equally. Poseidon's discontent with this division surfaces repeatedly in myth. He frequently overreaches, challenges Zeus, and attempts to claim more territory. So like we covered in Athena section, Poseidon struck the Acropolis with his trident and produced a saltwater spring, or in some versions, the first horse. Athena produced the olive tree, and the cities chose Athena. Poseidon then flooded the plains in fury. Poseidon and Apollo were once forced by Zeus to serve the Trojan king as laborers, a divine punishment. They built the walls of Troy. When the king refused to pay them, Poseidon sent a sea monster to devastate the coast. This became the backdrop for many Trojan myths. Poseidon's resentment of Troy persisted through the Trojan War as he backed the Greeks during the continued beef that they had. So in an older version of Medusa's mythology, before the story became about Athena and Perseus, it was the basis of Medusa's origin story is that Poseidon was intimate with Medusa in Athena's temple. In some versions, he forces himself on her, and in some versions, it's consensual. Athena then transforms Medusa as a form of punishment.
Mm.
And so it's, again, like the complicated nature of these deities, right? Like if in the version, no matter what version you're reading, Athena reacts the same way, and it's only the woman who's punished. Obviously, there's like power dynamics involved there as well of the Medusa is a human. She's the only person who really can be punished, quote unquote, because of the, you know, the second most powerful god.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so then can Medusa even say no if it is quote unquote consensual? It's all those things, right? But I think it's important to talk about. And then Poseidon's primary antagonist role in the Odyssey is Odysseus. When Odysseus blinded the Cyclops Polyphemus, which is Poseidon's son, Poseidon spent 10 years making his journey home as difficult as possible. Storms, shipwrecks, diversions. The fates had not ordained him killing Odysseus, but he could make sure that he suffered and made his life as hard as possible.
Jeez.
Which I think is so interesting too, because even the second most powerful deity in Olympus is beholden to the fates, right? He has to listen to, there's some structure here, there's some form of rules. And then the base of the horse of it all, Poseidon is the creator of the horse. He struck the earth with his trident, and the first horse emerged. The horse, like the sea, represents both tremendous power and the possibility of being tamed and directed. In mythology, horses that emerge from the sea or the earth are all Poseidon's children. And then the Pegasus was born from Medusa's blood, connecting Poseidon, Medusa, and the winged horse all together.
Aww.
So, Poseidon unintegrated can show up as emotional flooding, being overwhelmed by feelings you cannot name or contain, rage at injustice that destroys everything in its path, the inability to let a slight go, demanding reciprocity for every gift you give, or the unconscious pulling you under rather than offering depth. His shadow is also the way the sea can be placid on the surface while a riptide runs beneath. Calm presentation over churning emotional depths. His healing edge is learning to feel the full depth of your emotions without being destroyed by them, to let waves move rather than suppressing them. Signs Poseidon may be reaching out. A sudden powerful pull towards the ocean or any large body of water. Horses appearing as a recurring symbol in dreams, imagery, or unexpected encounters. Earthquakes or tremors, even small ones, feeling personally significant. Emotional waves arriving without an obvious external cause. Dreams of deep water, ocean depths, or being underwater. Tridents appearing as a symbol. Feeling called to work with the emotional body, especially feelings that live below the surface. The tides affecting you physically or emotionally more than usual. A restlessness that feels oceanic, like something large is moving underneath your daily life. And dolphins appearing in your life as they were very sacred to him.
Oh.
Ways to work with Poseidon include emotional depth work, accessing and processing feelings that live below conscious awareness, working with the unconscious, deep meditation, dream work, and hypnotherapy, ocean or water magic, tidal correspondences, seawater rituals, or working at the water's edge, and travel safety, especially any kind of sea travel. Great cruise god, you know?
Yeah. What is tidal correspondence?
High tide, low tide.
Yeah, right. I got that, but what's the correspondence part? Is it like the moon phases? You can work with the tides?
Yeah.
What?
So my personal relationship with it is high tide is associated with abundance, and that's when you can go out on the you can let a boat out or whatever. And then low tide is obviously when all the water pulls back, and it's like associated with being a little bit more dangerous. This is also like what I associate with it, like living in a coastal place.
I was going to say I feel the opposite, because when it's high tide around here, you can't go on the beach at all.
Oh,
because it's all
yeah.
rocky.
Uh-huh.
So like low tide, or yeah, like mid to low tide is when you have a good beach day. High tide, you're not finding space for your blanket.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting.
I know.
Yeah, I was thinking about it like in terms of
Boats.
yeah,
I was thinking of it in terms of beach day.
which both are valid.
Both are valid. So interesting. So you would like time your ritual around the tide?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you would have to if you were going to do ritual on the beach,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah, no. Interesting. I've never thought of that before.
I see it as like connected to the moon phases, obviously, because it's connected to the moon. But for me, high tide is like, again, that like abundance. I see it. It's like associated with me with safety, again, because that's when like you have to time coming home with the high tide.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you wait too long and it's low tide, you're like stuck. A lot of people will, I remember like when I was in high school, there were kids that would like take their parents' boat out or whatever and then get stuck overnight.
Oh my God.
And they would have to wait for high tide to come home because you just can't.
Wow. See, for me, low tide I associate with space.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can spread out on the beach.
Yeah.
High tide, it's like not accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us your tidal correspondence. If you're listening to this on a platform where you can leave a comment, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Poseidon responds to genuine respect and a willingness to go deep. He does not respond well to being approached casually or used as like a quick fix deity. When we go back to that energy of like, he can be a little petty and feel slighted very easily. So he's someone that I associate with like a lot of respect and reverence that you need to have to like approach.
Yeah.
He governs depth, and so he's going to expect it in return. Working with him near water is powerful if possible. The ocean, a lake, a river, or even a bath, or with a large bowl of water on your altar. He is a deity of reciprocity. Honor what he gives to you, and he is generous. Take his gifts for granted, and you will feel the riptide. A simple practice might include, before entering the ocean or any large body of water, acknowledge him. When the tide shifts something in your emotional body, acknowledge it rather than suppressing it. That level of like attentiveness can be enough. That's its own form of devotion. Offerings include salt water, ocean water if possible, or just water with sea salt, seashells and sea glass, blue and green candles, seaweed, fish or seafood, trident imagery, coins thrown into the ocean or a body of water, horse imagery, and aquamarine or blue kyanite crystals. Other correspondences are lapis lazuli, larimar, blue tourmaline, and sea glass.
Larimar's a good one.
Larimar is such a good one. Also a great offering because it is kind of spendy. Deep blue, sea green, gray green, seafoam white, you know, that like off-white seafoam color. And dark teal, seaweed, sea holly, coral, kelp, and blue lotus. Horses, dolphins, fish, especially tuna, bulls, rams, and sea eagles.
Why especially tuna?
It's his favorite fish.
Okay.
You don't have a favorite fish?
No, I don't. Weirdly enough, I don't. I like the one with the little light bulb in front of his face.
You know, that's what I was thinking when I was talking about the fish that only exists like down at the deep dark depths.
I know. I knew you were thinking of that one, but I think he's like I just
love
picture him holding a book in his fins. He's just a Kindle girly.
It's not that I'm scared of him. I love him. He's just the only fish that I can think of that it's an anglerfish, right? Yeah.
Sure. I don't know.
Anyways, his planet association is Neptune. His day association is Monday for that like water or moon connection, and Thursday, which is his connection to Zeus. And then the number 3 for his trident.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Artemis, Demeter, and Poseidon each kind of hold on to 3 distinct but interconnected layers of the natural world and 3 distinct layers of the human experience of nature. So Artemis is the surface of the wild, like the forest, the moon, the living landscape, the stuff that you can walk through. Demeter is the cycle, the turning of the year, the wisdom of the seasons, and the relationship between abundance and loss that the plants and animals and humans all move through together. And then Poseidon is the depth, what moves beneath all surfaces, both emotional and physical.
Mm-hmm.
So a complete nature-based practice could benefit from all three. Artemis to reconnect you with your body and the living world, Demeter to align you with the cycles of the season, and Poseidon to give you access to the depths.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Who do you feel a level of connection to?
Probably Poseidon, but I also feel afraid of him and intimidated by him.
Yeah. I am interested to hear from anybody who does have a relationship with Poseidon, what that is like, because all of my reading of his mythology put the fear of God in me.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, if you don't appreciate him enough, he's going to flood your town or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. I don't know. It's also how I feel about the ocean. It's like deeply cleansing, but also really scary when I think too much about it.
Yes, very much that.
So, I don't know, man.
I don't either. I feel like I need to make an altar for Demeter while I'm writing my book.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was what I kept going back to, was like, oh, I hadn't even considered the way that she might hold dominion over grief.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, Demeter, you should put that in your book.
Right?
It just got longer.
I know. And we're having the opposite of, I do not need it to get longer. We're going to have a part 2. The other day, I came to Molly because I found out that my contract was for 20,000 fewer words than I thought it was for. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I laid out to her exactly what I had written so far. And she said to me, Madison, I think you're writing a 100,000 word book and you can't do that. She's like, you're going to have to kill your darlings. I was like, well, I'm going to have a lot of really great bonus material for the dynasties.
Yeah.
Anyways, let us know in the comments which of these 3 deities you felt the most connected to.
Who's on deck next?
Next, we have the episode that I'm a little nervous for because we've got Zeus, Ares, and Hephaestus up next. It's the boys club next week. So
it's the boys club. I'll be tuning out of that one.
We're going to talk about the complicated relationships that we have with some of these more angry, maybe a little bit more vengeful gods.
Looking forward to it.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. All our links, from spells to ceremonies to ways to support us, are waiting in the show notes.
We'd love to hear your magic moment of the week. Share it in a review, tag us on socials, or bring it to our Patreon clubhouse at demystifymagic.com.
And remember, you are the magic.
Okay, love you.
Bye.
Hey, Mama. Thanks for making all my favorite recipes.
Hi, Ma. Thanks for your unfiltered advice.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for always being by the phone.
Hey, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
When you ship UPS Air at the UPS Store, your items arrive on time or your money back. Guaranteed at no extra cost. Exclusively at the UPS Store U.S. retail locations. Visit theupsstore.com/airshipping for full details. Terms and conditions apply. Send your Mother's Day gifts at the UPS Store and we'll get your gratitude there on time.
Putting off replacing your window treatments because you think it's complicated? At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years proving it doesn't have to be. And today is your last chance to save big on Spring Black Friday deals. Whether you want to DIY it or have a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we've got you. Free samples, real design experts, and zero pressure. Just help when you need it. Shop up to 45% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure during the Blinds.com Spring Black Friday Last Chance sale. Rules and restrictions apply.